What is a sales belief? A belief about sales that you have that you think most people would disagree with?
Sales is very hard until it's easy, right? I think entrepreneurship is similar. Not that it's literally easy, not that it ever becomes a walk in the park, but in that through the journey of it being hard.
Do you think anybody could learn and get good at sales, or do you think there's like a certain type of a person, certain kind of personality, character traits that you have to be a killer in the space?
I think anybody could learn sales and become a salesperson. I don't think anybody can become a top producer.
Even for me, bro, I used to use that as like that fact that like most people just won't, like most people won't like sit down and grind on the boring thing over and over for years, the sacrifice and everything that you said. Like most people just won't do that. So it's like the people who are willing to do that, like that's your edge. Like it's the most obvious opportunity that's there.
Success is not a process of addition, it's a process of subtraction. It's a process of taking away the vices, taking away the booze, taking away the drugs, taking away the distractions, taking away the, this like bullshit, all these new course, like take all that shit away and like dial in and focus,
What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm here with my partner, Blyuss. Welcome to the pod. We're gonna be chopping it up, going over tons of topics, got some questions written down. Little background, 5, almost 6 years ago now, I saw you put up a story on your Snapchat, handed someone a fat stack of cash. Since then, you've taught me everything I know about sales, business, a lot about life as well. Very honored and grateful to now call you a partner. And yeah, bro, I mean, it's been a minute since, we sat down and talked. Last time we did this, we went over kind of the state of high ticket back then, what was going on. I think a lot's changed. With our business, what we have going on too. So, yeah, let's jump in. Bro, do you want to start with like maybe some background just on you and like everything that kind of got you into high ticket, kind of your story that led us here?
I could. I feel like I've told my story a million times, but I'll do an extra. That's all good.
Let's do it, bro. I'm here for it.
For your people who haven't heard,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it all started. My whole career started with sales. In high school, I kind of wanted to do my own thing. I had this idea that I didn't want to work a job. Just wasn't down, and so I saw these posters saying, hiring door-to-door salespeople, and I'm like, well, this is easy, right? So I'm like, I could go talk to people door to door, sell something, and so I kind of thought like, what's the easiest thing that I could sell that doesn't require a whole lot of knowledge, that doesn't require, any like trade skills, anything like that. And I ended up on window cleaning. My mom made me clean the windows every summer anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I could do that, right? And so that's how I started the, door to door. I at the very beginning outsourced, all the jobs I got. I'd go to school, after school, walk around, knock on doors, sell them window cleaning, walk around the house, give them a quote, get the job, outsource it. Until I saved up a little bit of money to buy a couple ladders, a minivan, and start doing the work myself. Did that for a little while, whatever, it was good, made some cash. And then I got into e-commerce. I made enough cash to invest some money into inventory. I met this guy at the time of window cleaning, partnered up with him. We were selling hoverboards online. Did very well for a long period of time, and then that guy screwed me over. We had a couple orders come in late from China. Shit hit the fan. Anyway, long story short, I had to refund a lot of people. Hit rock bottom again after I saved up a lot of money. But through that journey, I learned, number one, sales and the door-to-door, and I learned marketing doing e-com.
So for you, bro, your first sales experience was running your own business.
Door-to-door, yes.
Basically,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Bro, like what got into you at 16, 17 years old to like build your own business, run your own shit, say, yo, I'm not gonna go sell for someone else, but I'm gonna hire out the teams, I'm gonna do all of this. Like what made you want to do that?
I have no idea, man. I always, look, my parents never had a whole lot of money, and so like I never asked my parents for money, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that, knowing that money was like, we never had a lot of money growing up. So I always wanted to make money myself. And the first thing I did before I could even get a job, before I could start my own business, when I was like, I don't know, like 6th grade, 7th grade, I don't know what it is, whatever it was, newspapers, delivering newspapers.
Oh, really?
That? Yeah.
Oh, you were doing that?
Yeah, for a month.
You know, I remember looking at that. I remember I heard about that, and then I think my mom told me it was like a really competitive job. Like a lot of people were trying to get these jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only job you could get without legally being able to get a job.
I remember that, yeah.
But dude, you know how miserable it was? Like, the way it worked, I would get this like big ass stack of different newspapers, have to carry it like to the basement with my brother. I had a ping pong table.
And you're like fucking bundling them up and shit?
I would basically, it was like, I don't know, let's say there was like 10 different things you had to do, right? I would put them in a circle around the ping pong table, do a fucking lap around, put an elastic on it, put a bag, and then carry them all upstairs into this bucket and go up and down my street.
Crazy.
Waste of time. But point is, it was the only thing I could do to make money at like, I don't know what probably even, not even 14. I don't remember. Young. It was in elementary school, so I don't know, grade 5, 6, 7, whatever the case was. I just wanted to make money for, you know, whatever, Starbucks, snacks, like all this stupid shit, right? And I don't know, since then it was like just that freedom. It wasn't financial freedom by any means, but the freedom to know I could do my own thing. I didn't have anybody to report to at the time. You know, they dropped it off. I did my thing whenever, basically. I had to deliver by a certain time, but I had a little bit of flexibility. So I liked that. And then since then, I just always wanted to be in control. I think that was the biggest thing for me, you know?
Yeah, and like I feel like especially too, like sales in high school, I think the only reason why I got into it, and when I started working with you on the you know, door-to-door window cleaning, which was, you know, a really cool experience. I think the only reason why I was doing it because, like, for me, like knocking on doors was actually really uncomfortable for me, bro. Like back then, I was not good at it. I was very uncomfortable doing it. But like it was just the fact that, you know, you could like make your own paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go out and make whatever kind of money you want to make, and nobody could tell you you're too young, you're inexperienced, you're this, you're that. You can just go out and earn your money, right?
I think that's a big thing. It's like, you know, people have this like, people see all this shit on social media about like financial freedom and like, you know, everyone wants to get rich as fuck. Like I get it, you know, but really it's like the feeling of being in like total control, that if you decide to work harder, you make more. Like I think that's hard to beat. Yeah. Regardless of what the dollar amount is, especially at a young age, you know? So just like, that's what I was chasing. It's like, I knew that, you know, I'd knock doors for, you know, 4 or 5 hours. I knew if I really wanted to, I could do an extra couple hours and make an extra, you know, couple $100. Like that feeling of full control of the cash I had, that's what I was chasing at the time.
Yeah, I remember when you know, touched on like you know, you started doing high ticket at that point, right? I remember when, you know, someone explained to me like how it worked and what it was, right? I think it was like 3K packages at the time, 10-15% commission, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember like for me at the time, like I spent my entire like in school trying to figure out how to, well, even before that, me and Amon used to like camp out outside downtown Toronto in the cold, wait outside just to make $500 on a pair of shoes, you know, that we can buy and sell. And I remember it was that experience where, you know, when I looked at this, I was like, oh, now I can make, you know, 500 Canadian on a 30-minute phone call, and I can take as many phone calls as I want throughout the day. It was like comparing those two things that just made it click for me in that moment. And then, you know, you can get as good as you want at that one conversation, you know? And then that's what made me really excited about this, even given the fact that, like, you know, I was never, like, I guess, naturally built for sales, or I wasn't like naturally excited to do sales. Just the fact that I can go and accomplish whatever I wanted at 18, 19 years old, you know?
Yeah.
That's what really attracted me to this. But I wanted to ask you a couple questions, bro. I got some hard hitters for you, if you don't mind.
Let's rock.
So, I mean, obviously, I guess before I get into these, do you want to just give the people like some background, like since then, kind of what we've done in the last 4 or 5 years with our business?
Yeah, I mean, you know, started selling for one coach, made that guy a lot of money.
This was 2019, 2020?
This was This is now 2019, my
Right.
last year of high school. I started getting on calls for this one online coach, ecom coach, like no personal brand, nothing at the time. Took him from, zero to 500,000 a month, then, about $1 million a month, did incredibly well. He started doing stupid stuff, whatever, we parted ways, which, again, I hit rock bottom there a second time, paid out everybody out of whatever cash I had left, even though, that guy failed to pay me. But really, it was the best experience that ever happened in hindsight. Because if that didn't happen, then I would have never went on to shifting my mindset from, closing and doing sales for this one person to building a sales agency, right? We took on another e-com coach and another e-com coach, then a real estate offer. Then we started working with Ty Lopez, and that took our business from, here to here. Hired a lot of people, learned a lot through that process. Since then, sold for a bunch of different offers, and crushed it for every single one. Decided to launch our own coaching program because we saw how big of a gap there is in this whole industry. There's nobody, not at all teaching to the level that we are, and more importantly, nobody operates like we do day in and day out. Teaches. Most of the people coaching remote closing don't make money remote closing, which is crazy. It's like going to a personal trainer who's fat and overweight. Makes absolutely no sense, no matter how pretty their Instagram and YouTube is. But so we decided to do that, crushed it with that, and then since then we've shifted gears once again. We continue to do that, but we pivoted our sales agency to more like a publishing company. It's now called Publish Experts, where we partner with online coaches, do everything for them. We do their sales, we do their marketing, we do their ads, we do their emails, their funnels, you name it, and we take a significant chunk of their business, sometimes 50% equity. So now we have a couple of these things rolling at scale, and so crushing it on those. Give me a sec, somebody's calling me.
So like even with everything that you just mentioned, right? Like working with a bunch of different clients, scaling them to big monthly revenue numbers, and especially doing that across, like I think I counted it once, like actively we're at like 12, 13 offers right now, and we've kind of been there for a long time, plus minus a few, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that, from day one, like we've had the same, or at least a similar like 10-step framework, right? A lot of the same objection handling stuff that, you trained me on in 2020, we're teaching to this day, and it's very effective. I think, the success that we're having, with all these different clients it's all built on, what we do with sales training, but then also what we do when it comes to like building out sales teams, right? Yeah. We've worked with, hundreds of closers at this point, remote, in office. I wanted to ask you, bro, what is because I think we do things a little bit differently from what you see online and people's approaches to sales and closing. What is a sales belief, a belief about sales that you have that you think most people would disagree with?
A belief I have about sales that most people disagree with?
Yes.
That's a good question. I mean, look, to me, sales really is, it's complicated, but it's very simple. I think that a lot of people try and make it seem more complicated than it is, but I think it boils down to three things. Your success in sales boils down to three things. Number one is how hard you fucking work. Yes, you could get better with skill. Yes, you could, have a great close rate, but all these gurus online make it seem like you could take 2 fucking calls a day and make all this money. It's fucking bullshit. It's not true. It's unrealistic. Sales is a contact sport, and it's a contact sport for a very long time until you get to a point where you can actually, sales for a very long time is a contact sport until it's not. And so, gurus make it seem completely different, but that's one thing that
So you think people would disagree with you that you have to work hard to be good at sales?
Look, smart people wouldn't. All the gurus probably would.
But like you're talking about like the extent to which you have to work hard.
A lot of people underestimate it. You know, it's like, but it's like they're fed all this bullshit online that It's easy, and you could take 3 calls a day and make $1,000 a call, and like, it's fucking bullshit. Like, you have to work really fucking hard, right? And it's like, I think in recent years, sales has become, has shifted from a career to a business opportunity, you know? And so I think it's dangerous in some ways. And so for me, whenever I talk about our coaching and my beliefs, like, I try and make it very clear that, look, sales is very lucrative and it'll pay you very well, but it's also fucking hard, and it'll take a very long time to get compensated for your work generously, right?
Yeah, I think some people have, like, they might have a hot start, you know, they might do good their second, third month, but then, you know, after that they'll go through a slump, right? And like, it's not just, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, like, even for me personally, like, I learned how to work hard through sales, you know, like, I learned what hard work really is, you know, and like how far I can push myself, and I'm continuing to grow that capacity. But like, even just you know, the mental side of it, you know, the rejection, it's not just working the hours, right? But it's you know, all of the shit that you're going through.
100%.
Okay.
I think there's more. I mean, there's 3 really important things about sales. You got to work really fucking hard. Your intent has to be in the right place. And then the last thing is, you have to be always growing and never get complacent, right? There's a lot of people who do well for a little bit, but very few people actually last the test of time, right? And so, yeah, I don't know if that's something people would disagree with, but it's definitely something that the gurus are not going to tell you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I wanted to. I read this in Peter Thiel's book. This is the question he asks, like, his freaking grad students or something. Like, what's a belief you have that everyone would disagree with? And this is how, like, startups are made. But I feel like you know, because even I look at what I've done, you know, and you told me something the other week, which, you know, like stuck with me, where, you know, like, I spent like 4 years doing sales, 6-7 days a week, right? Basically 10-12 hours a day, you know, grinding, going hard. Like, yeah, there was some great months, there was some down months, but, you know, he told me something where it's like, yeah, in the beginning you have to grind, but at a certain point, like, it does become very easy.
Yeah.
But that only comes on the back end of years of effort and sacrifice and work ethic. And I feel like a lot of people, like, they might do that for a month, they might do that for 6 months, but, you know, maybe, I don't know, 10-20% of people really get past that, and the people who do are the guys who tend to last long, right?
Sales is very hard until it's easy, right? I think entrepreneurship is similar. Not that it's literally easy, not that it ever becomes a walk in the park, but in that through the journey of it being hard, you learn all the things that you no longer have to learn and are become habits, right? And so it's like, for me, it's like, look, if I'm starting day one, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever the case is, trying to build a sales team to $1 million, $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, I'm stumped. Like, I don't know how to do it. You know, even with a lead flow coming in, it's like, there's so many pieces to it. There's hiring, there's firing, there's recruiting, there's training, there's development, there's retention, there's mindset, there's environment. There's all these things that you have to do. And so it's like, that's hard, right? Because you, like, at the beginning, you don't know any of that stuff. Now, if I get dropped into any offer, it doesn't matter whether it's real estate, stocks, crypto, e-com, whatever the fuck it is, and the lead flow is there, I know I could build a sales team from scratch to $500,000 a month in 30 to 60 days. And it's like
hopping on like 3 Zoom calls a week, just moving chess pieces.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes a game of chess once you've done it enough times, because it's like, I already know what needs to happen, right? So it's like that with sales, right, too. It's like, it's just conversations. Once you've done it enough, like, I listen to some of these guys' calls, I already know what they're going to say. I already know what objection is coming before it comes. They don't.
You're thinking like 3-4 questions in advance too. Like,
I already know what's coming, you know? So it's like, it's easy for me because I could steer that conversation just because of the thousands or hundreds of thousands of calls that I've already done, right? So it's like, that's the game. It's just hard until it becomes easy.
What do you think? Because I see this a lot now, you know, especially like we're talking to a lot of people in the industry, we're working with a lot of them. What do you think of, like, you know, you see a lot of guys who you know, they're trying to get into building a sales agency right off the bat, or they're trying to be a a growth operator, or you know, one of these one of these buzzwords. What do you think about that?
A jack of all trades is a master of none. You know, like that's what it comes down to. And it's like, yeah, and I love our space with online coaching, and I'm incredibly thankful and grateful for it. But it's like year after year, it's like becoming filled with more and more bullshit. But at the same time, I also feel like consumers are becoming smarter. And so they're also, you know, avoiding a lot of the bullshit. But nonetheless, there's more and more bullshit coming out. Like this whole growth operator thing, it's like, so you're telling me that you could all of a sudden take a course and learn everything that I had to learn over 5 years after hiring hundreds of people, after having worked with the biggest clients like Ty Lopez, like Justin Wool, like fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you think that you could learn all that stuff. What else? Media buying. We've collectively, you know, spent or overseen tens, if not 100 million plus in ad spend. You're telling me somebody can learn all this stuff from taking a course? It's fucking bullshit. And it's like, it's this level of naiveness, you know, if that's a word, naiveness. I don't know. It's like
naivety.
I fucking dropped out. Who cares? Point is, like, it's just like complete bullshit. You cannot buy into that bullshit. Things take time. It takes time to learn. You know, jack of all trades and master of none. There's no way that a growth operator can master sales. Sales alone fucking takes forever to master.
Bro, sales management,
yeah,
too.
Sales management,
team.
Recruiting, training, onboarding, retainment, funnels, paid ads, email marketing, text marketing, like all this stuff. So it's like this fucking bullshit narrative. And so it's like a lot of these people, you know, very few people see success, and those that do, like, kudos to you, it never lasts, because what happens is they, you know, will partner with someone with a big Instagram who's never sold anything online. They have a hot audience. They'll milk that hot audience, make, you know, 50 to 100K in sales, whatever. And they have this like false narrative that this will last forever. It won't. You need to know how to actually scale with paid ads. You need to know how to scale with content, like all these things. So it's like, some people become delusional because they see a little bit of success early, but it never lasts. I think bottom line, in any business, in you know, entrepreneurship, it's like there is no shortcuts. Courses help, education helps, training helps, but you fundamentally need to go through the process to become, number one, the person who becomes successful. You have to go through a personal development transformation to become the person who becomes successful, and also learn everything to be able to perform. You know, like it's that simple. Yeah. Sales agencies, guys.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm not even going to talk about that shit.
I think it's like, yeah, like people just kind of get lost in like all the social media and what they see, and like, I want to be a business owner. I want to, you know, it's kind of an ego thing.
100%. It's always an ego thing.
Yeah, and like I think we agree that, like, you know, all of that stuff is great. That's awesome, but you know, I think like it's really important if you're going after big things, you have big goals, you're ambitious. Like, yeah, you have to be willing to trade years for that, you know, and like
years. It's not even years, Mish. It's not even years. Like, most people don't realize, nobody realizes the sacrifices unless they make the sacrifices. We saw this in the last week. The sacrifices that it fucking takes. You know, like, it's like, it's more than years. It's more than time. It's friendships, it's relationships, it's opportunity cost. There's many times where, you know, I'd love to be traveling the world or with my family, but I'm here for 12 hours a day. My first 3 years of this business, you know this, I was in the office for 12 hours a day every single day of the week. Every single day of the week. And still to this day, many days are like that. Not every day anymore, but many days are like that. And if they're not, it's, I come here, I work out, I do my day, I go home, and then I go somewhere else to fucking work, whether it's Starbucks or some lounge, you know, like, it's like, and even then, you know, we are still not at the level of success anywhere near where we plan to go. But it's like, just to get to where we've already got, man, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and you gotta love the game.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't love it, you're gonna tap.
What do you think, bro? I was gonna ask you. Do you think anybody could learn and get good at sales, or do you think there's like a certain type of person, certain kind of personality, character traits that you have to be a, be a killer in the space?
I think anybody could learn sales and become a salesperson. I don't think anybody can become a top producer, right? There's an 80-20 rule in sales. If you don't know it and you're a sales agency owner, growth operator, you got some learning to do. Fuck, I don't want to be sitting here throwing shade this entire podcast.
Let's keep going.
That might be what it turns into. But anyway, what I was going to say is there's an 80-20 rule. 80% of your people will produce 20% of your revenue. 20% of your people will produce 80% of the revenue. That has historically, for pretty much all of the accounts we've sold on, been pretty accurate. And so, can anybody become a salesperson and learn? Yeah, but you might just be the 80% that produces the 20% of the sales.
How would they know? The people watching, how would they know? How can they analyze themselves to tell if they got it or not?
I don't know, man. That's hard to tell because I've never had to analyze it. I've never jumped in and asked myself, can I be, you know what? I think the moment you have to start thinking about whether or not you could be that outlier, you're not going to be that outlier.
Yeah,
you know?
bro,
so maybe I just answered the question there. You know? But we've always kind of analyzed on the flip side. And it's like, again, it just goes into core values that we carry: extreme ownership. The moment if you're the person who starts blaming leads, you're not going to be the 20%. I've never in my life blamed a lead, never. If you're going to be the person who says, oh, I didn't have this many, forget it, tap. It's time to go, you know? If you're not disciplined as fuck and willing to go through the days where you don't have a single sale up on the board, not for you. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like it's a sacrifice. That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. And like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it's like,
for sure.
You know, if you're not taking full accountability of something in your life, you know, like you're losing, you have a problem, you have an issue that you just haven't faced for whatever reason, something like that is going to bleed into, you know.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. I think that's one of my favorite quotes of all time. I don't know who said it, but I use it a lot, and it's absolutely listen to this. I just hired somebody on Monday and fired them today. So I hired this person to sell on one of our clients' accounts. He was doing shadowing. He was listening to one of the sales guys on calls shadowing. The guy ends his call and asks the new rep who's supposed to be shadowing, hey, do you have any questions? The guy doesn't respond. You're on the Zoom with your camera off and you don't respond.
This was the first call he was listening to?
No, it was the first. He's still in training.
Yeah.
He's shadowing. Mm-hmm. And you know, we're asking, yo, any questions? The guy's not even there. So it's like the first week you show up to a training session, to a call, and you're not present. How you do one thing is how you do everything. What do you think that guy's going to do with his sales calls? Guarantee he's going to miss half of them. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's like, it's super basic, but most people fail that early.
Yeah, and like even with we had another case of that a few weeks back, right? Small things that had to be repeated. You know, things where it's like, hey, do this. Make sure you follow this. Make sure this is done correctly, right? And then 2 days later, oh, was I supposed to do this? Right? And then like the guy was performing. The guy was putting up numbers. Yeah. You know, like nothing, no problems there. But when it comes to little things like that, it just turns into massive problems in the long run.
Yeah, attention to detail for sure.
What do you think? Because on the other side too, like sometimes we've had guys who come in, you know, like there's a one-off every few months where it's like, yo, like this guy gets it. Like this guy's gonna be he's gonna be a killer one day. You know, and you've been really accurate with that, bro. Like you're calling out people all the time. Like, yo, this guy is gonna be solid. Invest in him, right? Like what do you see in those people?
Hard work is number one. They got to be willing to outwork pretty much everybody else. Conscientiousness, right? Like their level of conscientiousness is like just night and day. They pay attention to detail. Another one is how quickly do they implement the coaching and the training you give them? If I have to give somebody feedback over and over again and it's the same every time, I don't want to say I've given up on that person, but it's like they're not moving as quickly as the person who gets the feedback, applies it right away, and never goes back, you know? So I think that's another one. Tenacity, that's an obvious one. And then how hard they push themselves. Do they get one objection and then give up? Are they trying? Even if they're not doing it correctly. I don't care. If you're the person who gets an objection, tries handling it, doesn't give up, keeps trying, even if you're not doing it correctly on a technical level, but you keep pushing, those are the people we like.
And you know what's interesting, bro? Like you didn't say like, oh, they have really good tonality, or like they have really good objection handling, or they're really great at asking questions. Like everything that you just said was all character traits,
It's all character,
and who they are. So like if someone comes in and they're dog shit, they're at 0, never did a sales call in their life, and they have those traits, they can be a killer.
for sure.
Yeah, I think one thing that I saw, which like, you know, I would add to that, is like people who are really curious about like why they're not able to close a deal, or people who are obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Obsessed with growth, learning, for sure.
Cool. Let's switch up the topic a little bit, D. I think you know, we see a lot of people in the space. Like the number one question that, you know, we get asked is, "Hey, I'm trying to get into high ticket sales. You know, I have big goals, all these different things. How can I get on a good offer? How can I find a company, you know, that's quality, that can give me good leads, give me a good growth opportunity, where I can come in and do, you know, 6 figures, multi 6 figures a year?" But I think one of the problems is, you know, a big problem in the space is that a lot of people come into the industry and they don't have experience in the industry. But the kinds of companies that they want to work with are looking for people with experience.
For sure.
Right. So how do people get around that?
You put yourself in a position to be around that. It's that simple, right? Like if you're somebody who has no experience, who, you know, doesn't have these character traits and all these other things, it's like you got to drop the expectations, right? The expectation and this like sense of entitlement is one of the biggest killers for most people. They're not willing to do what it takes to get to a level where you can get those opportunities, right? And it's like opportunities, it's very simple. If you're a C tier rep, the best you'll get is a C tier offer. If you're a B tier rep, the best you'll get is a B tier offer. If you're an A tier rep, you'll get an A tier offer. It's that simple. There's never gonna be a mismatch. And even if somehow you get yourself in the room and you go through the interview and you're C tier level rep, and you somehow get on an A tier offer, you'll never perform. And you'll get cut in weeks, if not sooner. So it's like, stop thinking about, you know, the offer, and you got to drop this like sense of entitlement, and just realize the offer you will get is just a direct reflection of how good you are and how well you're able to perform.
And I think a lot of the people be thinking, okay, fine, but I'm doing the training, I'm going hard, you know, I'm role playing, I'm practicing, but you know, I'm still not able to find these opportunities, right? But like it goes back to like what we were talking about earlier, right? Where, you know, some closers like blame the leads, like, oh, the leads suck, you know, this and that, and that's why I'm not closing, right? And it's the exact same thing when it comes to the offers.
Extreme. Everybody should read this book, Extreme Ownership. Great book. Everybody should read it. If you are that person, it automatically tells me that you don't have extreme ownership when it comes to your leads, and so that right there tells me that you don't deserve to be on an A-tier offer.
Well, okay. What do you think about like the, you know, the stuff that you see out there, like different programs and things that people get, where it's like, okay, like, you know, guaranteed $10K a month, you know, offer an XYZ timeline working with us?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like marketing is marketing. And, you know, I try, especially now, to really be clean with our marketing and set the right expectations. But at the end of the day, it's like, whenever you buy a course or you buy coaching, I highly recommend that you buy that for the sake of growing rather than the end result. Don't buy it for the end result of making this amount of dollars. Buy it for the sake that you believe this will give you the skills and the training to become an A-level rep, rather than getting an A-level opportunity, right? So whenever you buy any courses or do any coaching, it's like, really think about it from like a development standpoint, right? Rather than think of courses as training and development rather than an opportunity. I'd say that'd be my biggest piece of advice. Yeah,
because the thing is like the moment that you turn into that guy, like the moment you are a A-level closer,
it's
like it's so easy to find opportunities. Like business owners are bro, like I would love to find an A-level closer who's ready to go that we can hire tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like
The problem
awesome.
is that everybody thinks that they're an A-level closer when they're not, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it's like, again, it goes back to this like entitlement thing. It's like everybody thinks they're better than they are, and they're not willing to do the work that it takes to get to that place.
Solid. Yeah, I think that's important because yeah, a lot of people come in with the wrong mindset, and even the guys that we've worked with who've like seen the crazy results in the short amount of times, you know, and like even like, you know, partly we love to promote the guys who come in and train for 2-3 months, hop on an offer, have a crazy start, you know, awesome story, great to see. But it's like it's interesting because those people always come in with the growth mindset. And it's the people who come in with like like how fast am I going to see the results? You know,
Yeah.
what can I expect when I'm at this point? And X, Y, and Z. The people who are in a rush are almost always the people who don't get what they want in the end. You know,
100%.
that's a good point. So how can what would you say, bro? But because you've seen a lot, you've also been working, you know, side by side with a lot of offers. You've seen the inside of them. You know, I know in our business what we do, you know, we cherry pick the best opportunities, you know, to work with. How would you recommend someone who's stepping into the space, you know, kind of evaluate different opportunities, different roles, you know, to get started?
Frankly, I wouldn't recommend that that's where they start. I would say for a while, forget about the money and just become obsessed with becoming the best. Like that's the first thing, you know, like really, really, really do that. Not for a month, not for 3 months, not for 6, just become the best. This industry's not going anywhere. So it's like there really isn't a rush. There's a rush to get good because you're competing with a lot of people, but it's you against yourself, right? So like take the time to grow and get damn good so that you become extremely valuable. When you're good, it's easy to get a job. And so it's like landing these opportunities is not hard. It's like at the end of the day, it's, you know, for a lot of it, it's a numbers game, right? I'd say, you know, do a lot, show up a lot, you know, be in everybody's face. But frankly, it's like you said, we're literally looking for people today. If I came across an 8-tier rep today, I would hire them. We have offers, right? So it's like finding them is not difficult. Finding the opportunity is not difficult, but it's like just become as good as you possibly can.
What I see a lot, I heard this new term recently in the space called offer stacking, where like guys are like, yeah, so like I'm offer stacking right now, like 3 different offers, you know, I'm an appointment setter on these 2, and I'm a closer over here, you know, trying to get to 10K a month now.
Is that an actual thing?
I see this on Twitter.
Oh my God.
What do you think of this?
Any little kids on Twitter who make a Twitter page to start building their personal brand, unfollow immediately. Fuck. Offer stacking.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, do you really need me to tell you what I think? Like, is it... Oh my God, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Talk to us, bro. What are you thinking?
What am I not thinking? If you can't be full-time on one offer and perform, there is a significant issue. There's a skill problem. If the offer does not bring enough leads, it is your fault because you're not performing enough. You're not selling enough for the business to have enough money to invest more money into ads and fill the calendars. Stop with this bullshit reinventing the wheel nonsense. Get good. That's it. It's that simple.
But what if just to push back on that, bro? Like what if they're taking your advice and they're like, yo, like I'm listening to Dylan. I'm trying to go as hard as humanly possible. I'm trying to get on as many calls as I can. I'm just working 16 hours a day. I'm doing this.
Why can't you do the same thing on one offer?
I don't know.
There's not enough leads?
That would probably be the reason.
Okay, so you suck. You have not brought the business enough money to consistently be able to spend money on marketing. Therefore, what you should stop doing is doing the same thing over and over again. Cut back on your hours, spend the difference working on your craft and getting really fucking good. Bring the business more money and they'll fill up your calendar. And the other thing, it's also, first of all, I mean, there's many reasons why that's bullshit, but one of them is that it's actually very hard to sell many totally different products at once.
Yeah.
I've been there, I've done it. Mm-hmm. It is very difficult to tap in and build such different levels of rapport and, you know, different needs and core emotions. It's tough.
Huge mind fuck. Yeah, huge, very very difficult. I knew this one. I knew you would like that topic. That's why I brought it up. But no, I agree. I agree, bro. I think it's crazy. And I think it's more of like people kind of looking for, you know, the success that they want and the results that they want is on adding a new offer or building a freaking sales agency or like buying another course on top of the 3 courses that they already got, and just like constantly like people trying to add and you know, add new things to their plate, when it's like, yo, like at the end of the day, like you just need to put your head down, look at the work that's right in front of you and grind and maximize it and make the most out of it, right?
Eric says this. Eric Spofford, he's a client of ours and also a really good friend of mine, friend first, says something which I like a lot, and I think it's directly applicable to this topic here. Success is not a process of addition, it's a process of subtraction. It's a process of taking away the vices, taking away the booze, taking away the drugs, taking away the distractions, taking away the, you know, this like bullshit, all these new course, like take all that shit away and like dial in and focus, you know? And so I think that applies here. Like stop doing all the unnecessary stuff and just go all in on one thing. And it's like there's always this feeling that the grass is greener on the other side. There's so many reps that go through our coaching. We help them find an opportunity, or they find one themselves. They crush it, and then they just drop everything and look for something else because they think that 15K or 20K a month is not a lot of money, and they want to make 25 or 30. I'm like, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah, and I think like even for me, bro, I used to use that as like that fact that like most people just won't, you know, like most people won't like sit down and grind on the boring thing over and over and over for years, you know, the sacrifice and everything that you said. Like most people just won't do that. So it's like the people who are willing to do that, like that's your edge. Like it's the most obvious opportunity that's there.
It's the discipline,
you know.
For sure.
What do you think? Last question for you, bro, because I think you know, a lot of people might, you know, they might be further along in the journey. You know, maybe they've gotten on and off, or they're starting to see some progress. They're closing full time. I think I see a lot of guys get stuck at like, you know, 5-ish, 10-ish K a month. And then maybe like, you know, a small percentage really breaks past that and gets to the next level, you know, or even builds like a long-term, you know, great career where they can, you know, build a lifestyle on the back of it, right? What do you think, you know, if we haven't gotten over it already, what do you think separates those people, you know, who are in the game for 5-10 years, who constantly grow, get better, get to the next level, compared to the people who hit that 5-10K and fizzle out?
I think a lot of people that get there and, you know, like you said, fizzle out is complacency, right? It's like they just get to a point where they're making money in their head, they won, and they stop chasing what's truly possible. They stop chasing their true potential. And then the other thing is like a lot of people just stop the personal development. They get to 10K a month, and your level of income will never exceed your level of personal development. And so it's like if you stop growing, your income is guaranteed to stop growing as well. So a lot of people get to that place and then they just stop taking the time to grow and develop, which, you know, directly correlates with their success. And then on a skill level, there, you know, 10K a month skill is very different from 20K a month skill, and 20K a month skill is also very different from 30K a month skill, and so on and so forth. And we could do that in another video, and, you know, we could whiteboard it, but every level of income will require a new level of skill and personal development, and so there's no way around that. And so that's the bottom line. You just got to do what it takes.
Yeah, like the hunger and the drive and everything that motivated you to get to 10K a month. Like the thing is, you get there, then you lose it. And then it's like, what are you going to tap into to get to the next level?
Yeah, what got you to where you are today is not going to get you to where you want to be tomorrow.
And like the dumbest fucking thing that you can think, you know, if someone's out there, you know, you hit your first 10K, or even you just hit any milestone, right? You hit any number or any milestone you haven't hit before. You know, what happens is like now, you know, there's almost like a you know, a thought of like, okay, cool, like it's just gonna be like this now, like every month, right? You take your foot slightly off the pedal, and then instantly you start regressing, right? Where it's like especially in this game, like 100% commission, like if you're not actively growing, getting better, like you're dying. You're getting worse.
It's like that in everything, you know? It's like if you're not growing, you're dying. That's the bottom line.
Yep. Nice. Cool. I think, D, thank you for the wisdom. This was great.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to say to the people? Any words of wisdom? Any advice you give them?
Work hard. You're not as good as you think you are. And what else? I don't know.
Cool.
Never settle.
Nice. Let's leave it right there.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Peace, guys.